Welcome to another aXpire update, this time for week 46 of 2019. This week at aXpire has been fruitful. In development news, we just finished another phase of the Bilr application, currently having the entire team look through the app and give feedback before moving into the next phase. We will have the application ready for Legal Tech 2020, though we might release it a few weeks before in coordination with our go-to-market launch plan, so that we have some win in our sales leading into the conference. As we've said time and time again, we are super excited for the event, and we think we'll qualify some good leads there. We are planning to host a variety of different events in our Miami office as well, using a beautiful conference suite that's at our disposal. These events can be Resolvr or Bilr focused, and would get sponsors to cover most costs, allowing us to generate leads at near zero costs. These sponsors would not be difficult to get, but to clarify, we're not talking Consensus 2020 type of events with sponsors that get their branding on everything from coffee mugs to keychains. This would be much smaller, closed events where professionals within our demography would RSVP for access. That's just one of the many planned activities to help us grow, but I figured I'd give you a little insight into our plans. In Resolvr news, we have a planned workshop with our anchor client, a top 10 global hedge fund in AUM or assets under management. This workshop will allow us to further identify and work out additional improvements to the software, paid for by the anchor client. With each workshop, development cycle and more, we improve Resolvr. These are exciting times, though we realize that from the outside looking in, things can seem slow. When looking at our efforts relative to the space we're in, however, things are actually moving quite fast. That's all for the project side of this week's update. Next, we have This Week in Crypto, bringing a collection of news and happenings from this past week to your attention, as well as giving you a brief opinion on them. In the first piece of news for this week's update, Bakkt was approved by the New York Department of Financial Services to provide custody services to, quote, any institution. Previously, Bakkt was only able to provide the futures product to consumers, but this development will allow them to support institutions' efforts to procure and store cryptocurrencies, vastly reducing the amount of knowledge needed to participate in the crypto markets. Whether or not this is a good thing for Bitcoin's price, I really can't speculate. It's hard to say what this news means for the entire space, but I personally think it's positive to open up the crypto space to as many parties as possible. Bakkt themselves, in the blog post announcement they made, said that their custody solution that was now approved is a, quote, critical link in the institutional adoption of Bitcoin. In addition to this, they said the following, quote, safely storing digital assets demands a comprehensive approach to custody. Institutions and sophisticated investors need more than cutting-edge technology. They require proven infrastructure, robust operational controls, and independent oversight. In the latest months, Bakkt has received some flack from the crypto space for being underwhelming. The launch day did not see a lot of Bitcoin being traded, but they have slowly but surely grown day by day, and today their volume is actually quite good with more growth seemingly on the way. Back when Bakkt was first announced, I wrote a blog post hailing the company as a good thing for the entire space. I stand by my opinion today, and I think they'll eventually be seen as having brought more volume and interest to crypto. In other news, the American logistics and delivery giant UPS partnered with the agricultural tech firm X to deliver a beef shipment from Kansas to Tokyo, Japan, using blockchain technology for their shipment supply chain. The steak was delivered to a steakhouse in Tokyo for a dinner event supported by both the US Embassy in Japan as well as Japanese officials. After the shipment was received, attendees were seen scanning QR codes with their phones, allowing them to see the beef's journey from the US to Japan verified by blockchain technology. The way that their technology supposedly works is that X's blockchain partner network integrates with UPS's visibility tracking tool, having the tracking tool log updates throughout the journey, which are then reflected in the blockchain network. This isn't the first time we've seen blockchain used in the supply chain of food shipments, and it's not going to be the last. Blockchain in food supply chain is rather genius and allows for a lot of different benefits, such as ensuring that food hasn't been tampered with until it's received by stores, consumers, and more. In Norway, for example, we are currently able to look at many food packages and see where the potatoes were sourced from, for example. Adding an extra layer on top of this with blockchain technology and QR codes or similar would allow for true transparency and verification of the information by end users or end consumers. In the last piece of news for this week's update, we have another piece on Facebook and payments. You might expect this to be about Libra, but it's actually not. On November 12th, Facebook announced a new traditional payment system called Facebook Pay. To clarify, this system does not use blockchain or cryptocurrencies and is very likely a reaction to the regulatory stonewalling across the world that Libra is facing. The way this system works is actually quite simple. It integrates on Facebook, in the Messenger app, in WhatsApp, and on Instagram. You can pay a friend for gas through Messenger, or you can pay for goods through the Facebook Marketplace, which will now be much more empowered than previously. We think that this is another attempt by Facebook to create additional revenue sources, seeing that they're losing users. Their user base is absolutely massive, and monetizing just fractions of it with further services would represent huge revenues. It's likely that this system is a precursor to Calibra, if it's ever approved by regulators. All in all, we can't really fault Facebook for improving their products and business model, but we still see them as the absolute bad guy in the fight for online privacy and empowerment of the individual. That's all for this week's update. I hope to see you again next week. Thank you.